In a world that puts an emphasis on friendship and standing together, Knuckles the Echidna goes against the grain, forging his own path. Where Sonic the Hedgehog is a character who relishes the fellowship of his friends, Knuckles could be considered his polar opposite, instead enjoying the peace and quiet that comes with a mundane life. Shaped by the tragic history of his tribe and the compassion shown by his friends, Knuckles has developed into one of the bravest and kindest heroes in the world of Sonic the Hedgehog. A loner by nature, Knuckles often stands on his own, no matter how daunting the task ahead is. It's hard to stand alone, no matter the ordeal. Whether facing insurmountable odds or holding a belief that goes against the norm, the pressure to cave in and throw in the towel can become overwhelming. At the end of the day, it's easier to go with the flow than to fight against the current. However, the progression of Knuckles' story shows us the importance of holding true to your values, even if you stand alone. It's because of this that I believe Knuckles' story is best told independent of Sonic and his friends. Often the main cause of Knuckles' separation from his friends is his guardian duties to Angel Island and the Master Emerald. As the last of his kind, guarding the remnants of his civilization has fallen solely upon his shoulders, and it doesn't come without its own set of hardships. In the beginning of Knuckles' story in Sonic Adventure, he begins contemplating his life, as he's not sure why this immense responsibility has been tasked upon him. Left to nothing but his thoughts, Knuckles begins to ask the question, why me? And the tone of his voice bears some resentment towards this responsibility. The questioning of his purpose would ultimately lead Knuckles on a journey of existentialism as he begins to discover the importance of his duty. Through this expedition that he would embark on, Knuckles would also end up discovering his true essence. Up till this point, Knuckles has searched for answers in an answerless world. He knows very little of his past or what his purpose in life truly is, and that lack of knowledge evidently makes him uncomfortable. So setting off into a wider world to retrieve the fragmented pieces of the Master Emerald, Knuckles would unknowingly begin his journey of self-discovery. It's during this journey that his path would cross with his friends, but the burden of restoring the Master Emerald is one that Knuckles must undertake alone. Unlike many other characters in the Sonic mythos, Knuckles' journey to find himself is totally isolated from the interference of his allies. While he cares about his friends, he doesn't look to them for inspiration or to have them solve his problems for him. Instead, Knuckles seeks to prove himself while finding the emerald shards and unveiling answers to the past. In the opening of the game, Knuckles seems dissatisfied with his life as it currently is, not seeing the purpose in his responsibility to the Master Emerald. But as the game progresses, Knuckles learns about the transgressions of his tribe, and it's through this revelation that Knuckles comes to realize the importance of his role as guardian to the Master Emerald. He's witnessed how power can corrupt and hurt others when in the wrong hands. Finally understanding the purpose of his duties, Knuckles begins to find inner peace towards the end of the game as he restores the Master Emerald. This arc that Knuckles went on wouldn't have been possible if he was running around with Sonic and Tails. See, Knuckles was bestowed this immense responsibility, and though it weighs on him heavily, even sometimes feeling like a curse as he states, he understands that he has to guard the Master Emerald for the betterment of the world. If he ever let it into the wrong hands, it would cause utter devastation, and with that knowledge, Knuckles works night and day to make sure that the inhabitants of Angel Island are safe, and most importantly, that the Master Emerald is secure. His job is a never-ending one, which takes a huge commitment. Now, Sonic as a character displays themes of free will and choosing your own path in life. This is in direct conflict with Knuckles, who believes that his duty to the Master Emerald was predestined. The responsibility that Knuckles bears is something that only he truly understands. It's this inner battle of free will versus duty and responsibility that Knuckles faces, which makes his character more compelling. We even get a good example of these clashing mindsets as Sonic tries to sway Knuckles to be more free, going as far as trying to convince him to leave Angel Island during the events of Sonic Frontiers, but more on that later. While Knuckles might long to be free of his never-ending responsibility, he knows within his heart that his mission is important, and without him guarding the Master Emerald, chaos would surely ensue. Having Knuckles be distant from his friends both emotionally and physically allows the story to show the rigid dichotomy between their understanding of what it means to be a hero. Sonic loves leaping into action at any and every chance he gets, but this doesn't mean that he won't try to talk his foes down. Believing that there's good in everyone, Sonic wants to give them a choice, because a big theme of his character is the idea of free will. Even if a fight is near inevitable, Sonic will give his villains a choice to make amends and turn from their wicked ways. This talk first, fight later mentality is very different from how Knuckles handles his opposition. Born into a warrior society, Knuckles will do whatever he must to uphold what he deems to be right, because he's witnessed the consequences of unchecked greed and power. This often means that Knuckles will rush into combat rather than attempting to de-escalate things first. This contrast of characteristics between Sonic and Knuckles ends up bringing out dynamic conflict between the two of them. The conflict between their differing viewpoints inherently makes any dilemma more engaging, as both will have a different solution to any problem. A great example of this is when Sonic and Knuckles encounter Sage on the Starfall Islands. Sonic's initial response to Sage's hostility is to talk her down and get an understanding of her hostility, but when Knuckles arrives and sees his friend in harm's way, his initial response is to fight it out. This pragmatic approach to dealing with his enemies is due to his strong sense of justice that he's developed while on his own. In his mind, any injustice must be met with force, which is a pretty different mindset from most characters in the Sonic universe, making Knuckles one of the more unique characters. In Sonic Frontiers, Knuckles develops a unique connection with the Coco, understanding that they now face a similar situation that his own tribe once did. Due to this, they serve as a constant reminder to Knuckles that he is not only the last of his kind, but also alone. This mindset that Knuckles adopts is the driving force that compels him to help others. The sense of loneliness and longing for family is something that Knuckles doesn't want anyone else to have to endure, and this pushes him to fight for others. This differs from a character like Sonic, who fights in order to preserve the bonds of friendship. During a moment of vulnerability between the two heroes, Sonic would mention to Knuckles that he isn't alone, and that he has his friends here for him. Interestingly enough, Knuckles doesn't really answer to that, instead retorting that he's jealous of Sonic's ability to go anywhere he wants, when he wants. I don't think that Sonic can truly understand where Knuckles is coming from with the feeling of loneliness. Sometimes even having your friends by your side isn't enough to fill the void of family or belonging to something greater. It's a challenge once again that Knuckles will have to overcome on his own. Just like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh, being the only one can make you feel unique, but it doesn't wash away the longing for family. However, it's possible that like Tigger, someday Knuckles will come to find that his friends are his family. Knuckles' deflection here is also interesting, as he states that he wishes he had the freedom to go where he wants, when he wants, like Sonic. Sonic is all for this idea of Knuckles departing on an adventure to explore the world, and for the most part, Knuckles plays along with this idea, telling Sonic maybe. However, this goes to show that Sonic, being the free spirit that he is, doesn't quite understand the gravity of Knuckles' duties as the last guardian to the Master Emerald. Sonic is used to being able to do what he wants, when he wants, but Knuckles' life experience has been much different as he constantly patrols Angel Island. This difference between the two makes their relationship more impactful, as they live totally different lives, and it's a dichotomy that we don't get if Knuckles is relegated to being a character who is constantly around Sonic and his friends. After being attacked by Sage, Knuckles proceeds to call Sonic out on being too trusting due to Sonic's tendency to believe that there's good in everyone and they just need to choose to act upon it. Knuckles' experience with trust is much different than Sonic's. Growing up alone, Knuckles didn't have anyone who he could trust and rely on in times of hardship. When finally encountering someone who he would put his trust into, it came around to bite him in the end. This explains a lot of Knuckles' standoffish nature and why he's the opposite of Sonic, donning a fight first, talk later mentality. Even after befriending Sonic after the events of Sonic 3, there are numerous examples of Knuckles having trust issues. It all boils down to his mentality about the Master Emerald. The importance of it cannot be understated, as it's become the most important thing in his life. So despite his friendship with Sonic and others, if there's even a sliver of doubt that they might betray him, him, Knuckles will be unyielding in his service to the Master Emerald, which is why there are numerous instances of Knuckles engaging his friends in combat as he mistook their intentions. In this regard, Knuckles' isolation has done him a huge disservice when it comes to being able to adjust to the world. Eggman, of course, has helped in causing near irreparable damage to the trust of Knuckles. However, Knuckles has slowly been getting better about this, as his faith in others has been restored by friends such as Amy Rose, who has shown Knuckles good faith in preserving and returning Echidna artifacts. Yet, Knuckles' trust issues still run deep, and once trust has been broken, it's something that's hard to restore. Being a lone warrior, Knuckles has set himself apart from the pack both literally and metaphorically. It's easy to understand why he has become such a fan favorite since his induction into the mythos. He's a headstrong loner who has a strong sense for justice and a big heart for his friends. Due to that, Knuckles is always willing to go to battle for what he believes is right, and he sticks to his guns. I love seeing Knuckles interact with his friends, but what truly makes this character special is his separation from all of that. The growth of finding himself and his purpose in life is one that he achieved on his own. Knuckles is an example of forging one's own path and not following the herd. It's refreshing to have a character that's so opposite of Sonic, yet have them both come together despite all of their differences and still be friends. I think that the upcoming Knuckles show truly understands that Knuckles' journey of finding himself needs to be one that's independent of Sonic and his friends, which is why we're going to get him going on an adventure with Wade. This understanding of Knuckles' character has me really excited to see what they have in store for us. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think Knuckles works best alone? Are you excited for the Knuckles show this coming week? If you want to see more, check out the video here for more Sonic lore, and make sure to subscribe for more content. As always, I wish you all the best. Take care. Peace.